There are concerns the AUKUS deal could make Perth a top military target in Australia. Joining me live is Professor Joe Siracusa, Curtin University's Dean of Global Futures. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon, Joe. So you've been part of some debates this week. What are your main concerns?
Hello, Jenny. Well, I was dealing with the Kissinger Center for Global Affairs and with some nuclear experts we brought out here. We're sharing with Curtin University in a conference looking at the global nuclear order. And we have determined that since we last met in Melbourne 9 years ago, the world is more dangerous and uncertain than it was before. In fact, bolstering or strengthening the nuclear deterrence is very important. It's the only really way of preventing a World War III. And so Australia has an important role to play, and America has an important role. And we're looking at how we can help each other. And of course, while Australia has always been a nuclear target, and I've been here since '73, I can tell you that, I think Perth's become an especially important target for planners, say in China or Russia, whatever it is, and they see the AUKUS development here, not only nuclear propelled submarines, but they're going to have nuclear nuclear cruise missile type things here when the British and the Americans come with their families. It's going to be a big base here. So Chinese worry a lot about it, and there was a discussion yesterday about if the Chinese wanted to send the Americans a warning shot, that is to forestall a major war in Taiwan, they might destroy one of the cities of America's allies. And so Perth's an easy target, always has been, as a matter of fact. And so what would Perth do? Now, there are some politicians who've told me this morning, well, you know, Perth's always been a military target. Well, let me tell you something. In the last 9 years, we have a serious deterioration in international relations. And whatever Perth was before, Sydney or Melbourne, whatever it is, they're all serious targets now. And you know, we have kind of dangerous days ahead because the international system is collapsing. So we got to do what we can to shore up deterrence. And I think the subs do that kind of thing. And I think there's an entire generation of young Australians at university and growing up who don't know anything about this. All they know is about the damn war on terror, which goes on and on and on. And so we're trying to create a generation of very positive, confident young Australians who will contribute to this nuclear deterrence and able to stave off the great power conflict that everybody in Washington and London has been predicting. So it's a high-stakes game, and yeah, I think Perth would be easy pickings. On the other hand, if the government of the day understands that Perth is a target, then they have an obligation through duty of care and other things to let people in Perth know how they would survive a thermonuclear blast, or at least a tactical nuclear weapons blast. And there are many ways to survive these things and to escape radiation. But I've been amazed in the last 20 years, people have forgotten about nuclear weapons because they thought that at the end of the Cold War, the nuclear weapons disappeared. Nothing could be further from the truth, Jenny.
Joe, we do have only a minute to go, but I did want to get your opinion on our top story from today with the US and UK conducting the joint military attacks targeting the Iran-backed Houthi rebel groups in Yemen. We did hear from Defence Minister Richard Marles, and he confirmed that Australia did provide Australian personnel. He didn't really provide too much more information, but what are your concerns moving on?
Yes, I'm not surprised he didn't provide more information. Look, Australia and the United States and Britain, they're interoperational at all kinds of levels, even interchangeable. Australia is part of the decision, even if they're not providing the warships or the airplanes on the day. And this is a very serious threat to widening the war in Gaza, that is the war becoming regional, attacking Yemen on their own soil, and of course they don't own all of Yemen yet, is a risk. But you know, the Houthis have been asking for this, and America and its allies are responding. Saudi Arabia was very close to some kind of a ceasefire there, but that's off the table. But keep in mind, Janie, everything that happens in Yemen, everything that happens in Lebanon, and in certain places of Iraq and Syria, the Iranians are the puppet master. So it'll only take about a New York minute for this to go from Yemen to war with Iran, or Iran releasing or sending orders around the world to create havoc in the Western world with suicide bombers and the rest of it. There's no doubt in my mind that this is all planned by Iran, and they got their lackeys to do their jobs for them. So this can become very serious very quickly, And, you know, we don't want a war with Iran, but I'll tell you what, when Iran encourages and send missiles to and drones to Yemen to start firing on American and British warships, I think that it's a bridge too far, and they may have just overreached themselves on this one, because, you know, the two things you don't mess with is the United States Navy or the United States Air Force, and if you're stupid enough to do that, you're going to get exactly what you have coming.
Professor Joe Siracusa, we do have to wrap it up, but thank you so much as always for your time and expertise.
Thank you, Jenny.